Hi friends, Miss Yao here with...
Mr. Parson.
All right, we're going to be taking a look at some homework problems. Actually, you might see more of Mr. Parson than of me. This is homework for the week of February 26th, due Friday, March 2nd.
All right, Mr. Parson here. We're going to get started with number one. It says Jasna was packing some of her old stuff into a box. A box holds 10 pounds, but she only filled it 15/30 full. How much did the box weigh? It's a pretty big fraction. First thing I want you scholars to do is to make sure that you look at your fraction right here, 15/30. All right, we know that 15/30 is going to be a fraction that can be simplified. We know we have 10 pounds here and we have 15/30. We know that 15 is half of 30. So before we get started with the big numbers, why not go ahead and simplify 15/30? Simplify it to what? It will be 1/2. So you do 15 divided by 15, which would give you 1, and then 30 divided by 15, which give you 2. So now you've already simplified your fraction, and the only thing you have to do is make sure you work out your equation. So I would have 10 pounds times 1/2. After I do so, if I'm going to use the equation method, if I'm going to use the area model method, or if I'm going to use the repeat addition, I need to make sure that my math is going to give me a reasonable answer choice. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and continue forward with my equation. I'm going to do 10 times 1 gives me 10 halves. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take it a step further and go to the fraction form and make sure I simplify 10 halves. How do we simplify 10 halves? 10 divided by 2 is going to be 5. Because I know, Miss Scott, so rude. Because I know 2 times 5 is going to be 10. So I know 10 divided by 2 is going to give me 5. The box weighs 5 pounds. Not lambs, guys. I had a few in class saying that. But 5 pounds. All right? And that's how you do number one. All right, so let's go to number 5. It's about comparing fractions. I'm going to do number 6 because that's the easy one. That's what I'm going to do. No, I'm joking. I'm going to stick with number 5. All right, so with number 5, when comparing fractions, the main thing you have to know in order to compare fractions, you have to have like denominators. And in order to get those like denominators, you must make sure that you find the multiples of 11 and 12. Now, I'm going to let y'all know off the top of Mr. Parson head, I can't think of all the multiples of 11 and 12 that are going to give me the common denominator. So a little trick is to just go ahead and multiply your two denominators together so you can find that common denominator. And if we multiply 12 times 11, you get 132. It's a pretty large number for a denominator, but it's going to be a denominator that they both have in common. Now, if you want to go along with another denominator, you can go roll your multiples of 12. And you can get 12, 24, 36, and you'll go pretty good ways, and then you'll find yourself getting to 132. So a good way to look at this is to go ahead and figure out how you're going to get 11 to 32 and how you're going to get 12 to 32. You already know how you're going to get both of them to 32. Know why? Because you already did 11 times 12, so you know both of them. So if you did 11 times 12 gives you 32. Hold on a second. Lost my pen there. If 11 times 12 gives you 132, you should do 12 times... It did it again. Stop. You should do 12 times 11. And you know with fractions, what you do to the denominator, you must do to the numerator. So the only thing I have to worry about is because I know both of my denominators are going to come up to 132. At the bottom, I know I have to do 5 times 12 and then 6 times 11. Because what I did to my denominator, I must do to my numerator. So now I know 5 times 12 is going to give me 60. Well, I'm gonna put it on this side because that's what my 132 is. And then I know 6 times 11 is going to give me 66. So now I clearly can see which fraction is larger than the other. I have 60 over 132, and I have 66 over 132. So I can see with the common denominators that 6/12 is going to be larger than 5/11. So I would then choose my less than sign because 5/11 is less than 6/12. But if I read it backwards, 6/12 is greater than 5/11. Please make sure you take that into consideration when comparing fractions. You don't need to have such a large denominator. It doesn't matter how large your denominator is what I meant to say, when you're comparing fractions. So now you don't have to worry about so much simplifying, even though we know all the multiples of 5 and 6 and 11 and 12. We could simplify this if we wanted to. But the main thing I need you to take in consideration is to make sure you get those denominators alike. Like for number 6, please make sure you take a good look at your denominators, 2 and 9, and think what multiples do they have in common. Better yet, ask yourself, can I multiply very well? And I know how to multiply 9 times 2 and get a common denominator. And then remember, what I did at the bottom, I must then do to the top. Please always remember that. All right.
All right, friends, the other problems you will have to do on your own because it is review. So if you're stuck on any of them, go back to our previous videos and hopefully they will give you some hints. All right, our weekly riddle. The question is, what kind of cat do you not want to play games with?
A dog! Wait.
That's not a cat. A cheetah. You know, because it sounds like, oh my god, what are these arrows?
I apologize, my bad.
A cheetah. Because it sounds like a cheater.